Hey everyone, welcome back. Trying to keep up with AI these days, it's like drinking from a fire hose, right? It feels like there's always some new breakthrough or
And
headline.
that's relentless.
It really is. But, amidst all the excitement and the hype, there's this fundamental question that I think every organization, especially those at the top, really need to be asking themselves. And it's pretty straightforward. What's the real cost of a bad AI decision?
hmm
That's what we're diving into today. And thankfully, you've sent us a ton of great material to work with, everything from AI project management frameworks to global standards.
Yeah.
So our goal today is to kind of cut through all that noise, all the jargon. We want to make it crystal clear why this thing called AI governance, why it's not just some buzzword.
Right.
It's really, truly essential if you want to avoid some really big and potentially expensive mistakes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's really easy to get caught up, like you were saying, in the excitement of what AI can do, all this incredible potential. But just like any powerful tool, any powerful technology,
Right.
it's only as good and as safe as the way it's managed. And that's where this whole idea of governance comes in.
Okay. So to make this concept of AI governance really clear, let's try a little analogy here. Imagine a really high performance machine, something like a Formula One race car,
Oh, yeah.
or maybe even a really advanced aircraft.
Okay. I like it.
All those AI capabilities, all those algorithms and machine learning models we hear so much about, they're like the engine.
Mm.
The really powerful engine and the super sophisticated control systems of this vehicle,
Right.
they give it incredible potential.
But as we know, potential doesn't always translate to results.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is where it gets interesting. So if the AI is like that powerful engine, then AI governance it's everything else. It's all the things that ensure a successful journey. It's the rules of the road. It's the safety procedures.
Yeah.
It's having a skilled driver, or a pilot, somebody who really understands this vehicle's limits, how to operate it safely.
Somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the regular maintenance, keeping things running smoothly, and it's knowing the terrain, understanding where the hazards are.
Being prepared.
Right, being prepared. Now imagine taking that same high-performance machine, but this time, no rules, no qualified driver, no maintenance.
Oh, boy.
It wouldn't really matter how amazing that engine was, would it?
Not at all.
The risk of crashing, of things breaking down, or even just veering completely off course, it would just be
Be huge.
huge. It would be enormous. And, in the business world, that's exactly what can happen with AI if you don't have a strong framework for governance. Even the most impressive AI projects, they're vulnerable to these really costly errors. And those errors, they can have massive consequences for the whole organization. It's not just about the technology working, it's about it working for you in a way that aligns with your goals, your values.
Aligning with your goals. And speaking of goals, how often do AI projects actually achieve what they set out to do?
This is really interesting because the material you sent, it actually highlights this really, really important point. The CCAM AI methodology overview, it actually states that a vast majority, we're talking like 80% or more
Wow.
of AI projects, they just don't deliver what was promised. They don't even make it past the prototype phase.
80%. That's a lot.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating is it's not usually because the AI technology itself is flawed. It's
That's a planning problem.
it's a planning problem. It's a management problem. It's how these projects are integrated or not integrated with the actual business needs.
It's the missing governance.
It's the missing governance. It's that gap. And that gap is costing businesses
Big time.
big time, a lot of money. And that brings us to these methodologies like CPMAI, Comprehensive Project Management for AI,
Right.
which is specifically designed to give you that structure, help you plan these AI initiatives and ultimately really increase the chances of success.
It's about being proactive.
It is. It's about anticipating the challenges
Yeah.
and making sure that an AI project is not just some experiment, it's a strategic undertaking.
Yeah.
And it's going to deliver actual value, measurable value to the organization.
Exactly. And I think to really make that concrete, it helps to look at a specific example.
Absolutely.
The CPMAI methodology overview mentions a really common one. Customer service chatbots,
Oh, yeah, those are everywhere.
powered by NLP, natural language processing. The business goal there is pretty clear, right? You want to improve customer service, maybe reduce those support costs.
Sounds great in theory.
It does. But what happens when you don't have that AI governance piece in place?
That's when things can go Uh,
Sideways.
a little
A
sideways.
little sideways.
Yeah.
Think about it. Human language, it's full of nuance, right? It's
Yeah.
ambiguous. If a chatbot's not built with these strong governance principles, it can easily misinterpret a customer's request.
Oh, yeah.
And that leads to a lot of frustration.
A frustrated customer. And then you've got, industry-specific jargon. If the chatbot hasn't been trained on the specific terms, it's going to give irrelevant answers.
Or even worse, completely wrong answers.
Exactly. And so a tool that's meant to save money, improve customer satisfaction, it ends up becoming
A liability.
a liability. Yeah, it can drive customers away, hurt your reputation.
And it's not just a one-time thing, right? Language is constantly evolving. New slang, new products, new services. Without that ongoing governance, without keeping the data up to date, the chatbot becomes obsolete. Just can't keep up.
So you end up with unhappy customers. They take their business elsewhere. That's a financial hit.
Right.
You've wasted all that investment in the AI system itself, the development, the infrastructure, the time.
It's a big loss.
It's a huge loss. And then I think maybe even more damaging in the long run is the hit to the company's reputation.
Absolutely.
Bad news travels fast.
It does, especially online.
Especially online. And the point is, these negative consequences, they are direct results of not having that AI governance.
The lack of planning, the lack of oversight, it's a management problem.
Exactly.
So that's why a structured approach, something like CPM AI, it's so valuable.
Right.
Because it builds in those checks, those considerations right from the start, like those feasibility checks.
Yeah.
Not just asking, does this AI project make sense for our business goals?
Yeah.
But also, do we have the data? Is the data ready? And actually, in phase 2 of CPM AI, it specifically asks that. Do we have the data? Do we have the right governance structures in place? It's not an afterthought.
It's fundamental.
That's all.
It's fundamental.
It's right there at the beginning. And that phase also highlights data privacy, data ownership.
Really important considerations.
Huge these days. Right. And then you've got phase 3, which is all about data preparation, cleaning the data, labeling it correctly, addressing inconsistencies, dealing with things like data drift.
Because the quality of the data is going to determine the quality of the output. Right?
Exactly. Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
And if you neglect this stage, it can come back to bite you later.
Big time.
And then as you move through the framework, you've got phase 4, which is about choosing the right AI approach.
Yeah.
Making those trade-offs. Like, do you prioritize interpretability, understanding why the AI makes certain decisions, or do you just focus on accuracy?
Yeah.
Even if it's a bit of a black box.
Right.
And governance helps you navigate those decisions.
It does. Make choices that align with your needs, your ethics. Then phase V, it's all about compliance, security, ethics.
Right.
Throughout the entire process. A good governance framework, it tells you how those models are approved, how they're audited, how they're updated. It's about accountability.
And then we get to phase 6, which is model operationalization.
Yeah.
You can have the most amazing AI solution, but if you can't integrate it into the business, into the workflow, it's useless.
It's worthless.
It's worthless.
Yeah.
So this phase is all about version control, monitoring for changes in performance, making sure that there are ways for users to flag errors, challenge decisions.
That feedback loop.
Exactly, that feedback loop. Because if you don't have that, the trust in the system erodes.
It disappears.
It disappears.
So, when you look at a framework like this, CPM AI, driven by that governance mindset, it tackles a lot of the potential pitfalls.
Yeah.
And it helps turn AI from a risky experiment into a well-managed asset.
An asset that delivers value. And this isn't just about project management, right? The material you sent, it also shows how these principles are being adopted on a global scale.
Yeah.
Like in Malaysia, for example.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting, right? You see Malaysia's involvement with the IEC, on their joint committee for AI.
Yeah, the GTC1SC42.
Right, exactly. And that shows that they're serious about aligning with those best practices and helping to develop those global standards.
Absolutely. And beyond that, they've even got their own national guidelines for AI governance and ethics.
Yeah.
Like, fairness, transparency,
Right.
making sure that AI development is being done responsibly.
Yeah.
And the ISO itself, they're busy developing standards that address all these different aspects of AI governance.
Yeah.
Like ISO IE's DTR 2026.2 Band 25 focuses on environmental sustainability.
Ah, interesting.
So it's not just about financial costs, it's about the environmental impact.
The energy use, the cooling, all that.
Exactly. And then you've got ISO FDIS 42005.2025, which provides a way for organizations to assess the impact of their AI systems, both the good and the bad, on individuals, on society as a whole.
Thinking ahead.
Yeah, it's that proactive approach. And then there's ISO IEC FDIS 4006.2025, which is all about the certification of AI management systems. So we're starting to see this move towards formalizing those governance practices.
So it's not just good intentions anymore. There's a
structure.
There's structure. There are standards.
There are standards, and as we've seen in this deep dive, the potential of AI, it's huge.
Yeah.
But realizing that potential safely and effectively, it depends on this thoughtful and adaptable governance.
So, we've talked about a lot today, but I think the main takeaway for everyone listening is that the cost of a bad AI decision, it's not just theoretical, it's real.
Yeah.
It can impact a company's bottom line, its reputation, everything. So again, the question for those at the top, are you truly prepared for the cost of neglecting AI governance?
And on that note, I think it's worth mentioning a really interesting opportunity to learn more about all of this.
Oh, yeah.
The MPC Forum 2025. They're having this whole deep dive into AI governance, responsible AI strategies, regulatory considerations.
Sounds like a great event.
Yeah, it's a chance to really get into those practical details, talk to experts, share ideas.
Translate those concepts into action.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up, I think the key message here is that the power of AI, it requires responsible leadership.
Yeah.
We've made it clear that the price of ignoring AI governance, it's not hypothetical. It's a tangible risk.
It could hurt.
It can hurt
No.
a lot. And as AI becomes more and more integrated into our organizations, our lives, the question for all of us is how will we make sure that its development is guided by wisdom, not just by the excitement of the new?
How do we steer it responsibly?
How do we steer it responsibly? What steps can we take right now to build that foundation of AI governance? That's something for all of us to think about. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.